The words of my human companion still rang in my ears as we approached the hilltop. I couldn't believe I was here to witness this madness. I should have been heading home to announce their plans to the royal family. They would immediately denounce humanity and close ranks, leaving them to their fate. Why am I here, then, trudging through muddy terrain on a mountaintop, following the suicidal bastard who thought of this crazy plan? Why am I here? I sighed and trudged onwards, the sound of war drums pounding through the dimly lit morning sky. My human companion had a long, thick fabric bag slung over his shoulder, and a large metallic case he carried, too. It was long, painted black, and he carried it with exceptional care. Where? To his favorite spot up on the hilltop, which has a perfect clear view of the battlefield. And what a view it was! There, in an open field, in the open air, sat 5,000 Terranian troops of the Second Terranian Empire. My human companion seemed slightly less intimidated than I was. We had fought these madmen before. It took 10,000 lives to kick them off one of our colonies, and they only had 800 men then. We trudged along as I recalled the events that took place leading up to now. The Terranian Empire had come across humanity, a fledgling species only recently accounted for in the Galactic community. The Terranian Empire found out about them despite their best efforts and laid a claim on them. Galactic Law Number 7A1 stated clearly that if any lesser species appears, any larger empire is clear to challenge this race to a fair battle in armed combat. If the defender wins, they keep their sovereignty and join the Galactic Union. The loser is assimilated into the winner's empire as a colony, whatever that may be, as slaves or workers or soldiers, depending on the empire's needs. The Terranians usually took slaves of their new colonies. They almost succeeded in taking mine. The humans, however, were unamused by the state of affairs in the galaxy and opted out of the rules, abandoning the Union entirely. The only reason I am here is due to the fact we have decent trade relations with them. The royal family considers many humans their friends, so I was here more for moral support. The Terranians didn't take too kindly to humanity's actions after they rejected the Council's offer and stated they would defend their borders against any who come. The Terranians challenged them to the slaver's right. If they won, humanity would be their slaves. If they lost, they would leave humanity alone. The humans did one better and challenged them to a bout of Raganthar, or as they termed it, regicide. Humanity challenged the Emperor himself and laid out terms. They issued a challenge. They invoked their ancient warrior rights and sense of honor, foolhardy, stupid. Anyone who did that never survived. The Terranians immediately jumped at the provocation. Well, they were rubbing their hands together the whole time, so I am certain it was intended. Humanity laid out the challenge, leveraging their sense of honor against them and challenging the Emperor himself to a duel. The humans stated, if they can kill the Emperor on his own terms, the Terranian Empire cedes all control to humanity. The Emperor agreed. Of course, the Terranians don't know how to play fair, so they sent a massive army down to defend the Emperor. Humanity, according to the rules, could field an army of any size. This was 5,000 men. We expended 10,000 lives in order to defeat only 800. At this point, the galaxy had discarded humanity as just another pawn of the Terranian Empire and steeled themselves for a new galactic war with their new toys. So here we are, on a backwater planet climbing a mountain with a crazy human who made the challenge. Down below, 3 clinks away, sits the Emperor himself on his throne. The human in front of me stopped, pulling a device from his tool belt to his eyes, and surveyed the scene. He looked around him and nodded in approval. Here's good. Let me set up shop here, it's perfect. He began to unravel his equipment and spent some time setting up a small camouflaged tent on the hilltop. He carefully set up a tent, using various debris like rocks to help flatten his base out a bit, and used a device he called a spirit level to check the accuracy of his measurements. He lay flat on his belly to check his comfort, or something, and started collecting debris from the surrounding area to cover his tent with. "Why are you coveting your tent with branches? Is it not uncomfortable enough?" I asked quizzically, trying to hide my own form behind the line of bushes on the hill. "I take it your species has no concept of camouflage then? I'm hiding, not making myself comfortable. Need to be sure they can't see me until after I take my shot," he said and checked his surroundings once again. "You cannot be serious. Shot? What shot? You need artillery released by a battlecruiser to take them down. Believe me, we tried that. You humans are insane," I almost yelled at him. He simply sighed in response. "I understand you are distressed, but would you be so kind as to keep your voice down? Thank you." I watched in fascination and dread at the sight of the human opening the long black box he had and pulled out some kind of weapon. It was as long as he was tall. "What in the goddess's name is that?" I asked as I looked at it carefully. It had such a strange design. I was surprised he could even carry it. M400 Peacemaker. A direct descendant of the Chetak 408 that was the M200 intervention. Beautiful, isn't it? Handle, stock, mount, and bipod are all custom-made with recoil-absorbing polycarbonate and heat-treated ceramics to give it a nice, light weight despite the size. Its pressure-treated titanium body and barrel with chrome plating, the gun itself is Gauss-assisted. "This one I'm loading with this," he said. "Is that... what do you humans call a bullet? What even is it?" I asked as he handed me one of the two he had on him. It looked odd, a strange cylindrical object tapering off to one end with a strange blue glow to it. "That is a 50 caliber Gauss round, primed for anti-tank warfare. It has a small amount of C4 as its base charge and uses the Gauss effect in the rifle to accelerate faster. Also, it's a shaped charge warhead like an RPG. The tip will detonate a small warhead, which will force a small cone of molten metal at any target surface. Normally, we use these as pinpoint shells to fight tanks or gunships, but well, here we are," he said calmly, checking his weapon with care. "You only brought 2 bullets? There are thousands down there." "I know, and the rules say I only need to kill one. Therefore, I only need 1 bullet," he said, and racked the loading mechanism on his rifle, readying a shot. "Shooting this smug bastard's head off will be quite funny. I think, as retribution when I have control of the Empire, I'm going to order his men to shoot themselves," he said, a crooked, menacing smile appearing on his face. You cannot be serious. Why? I am supposed to be with my daughter today. It's her 5th birthday. I was supposed to be teaching her how to swim. I will make these fucking idiots pay with their lives for making me miss my little girl's birthday. I'll make them pay in blood for wasting my time like this," he said, his smile turning into a sadistic scowl as he readied his rifle. "And after I'm done here, everyone who abandoned us, refused to talk to us, anyone who cut us off, everyone who abandoned us to this fate, I'll put their entire leadership casts in front of a firing squad. Now, come on, little monkey. Show me your smile. Show me your face. Give old Caroline a perfect shot at your fat monkey face." I used my own set of viewfinder devices and checked. The Emperor was beginning a speech. He was growing tired of waiting and was going to storm the human city nearby. He stood from his throne and began to talk. My human friend ignored him and started talking to himself. "Wind, south by southwest, 2.1 knots, he said, adjusting his scope. The Emperor turned slightly to grace his armored troops with his presence as he spoke. "Target distance, 2.2 miles at plus 84.1 elevation, he said, moving slightly to compensate for the terrain. The Emperor waved his hands and smiled as he roused his troops to a fine fervor. One could hear the mighty roar of his subordinates calling for bloodshed. "Planet gravity, 0.83 Gs, target height at 8.4 feet, he said as he readied his gun to fire. I hear the sudden noise of an electrical field powering up. The Emperor moved with the grace of a leader and turned to face the men near the hillside and finished his speech. He raised his head high and smiled. "There you are." He took a deep, strong breath and slowly let it out as he squeezed the trigger of his gun. The shot heard around the galaxy suddenly rang out. A mixture of an explosive and an electromagnetic discharge suddenly shattered the calm of the valley. The explosive force of the bullet exiting the chamber disturbed the sand and leaves in front of it in a strange spiral-like pattern. It was as if the world slowed down for me. I could clearly see the bullet flying almost unopposed through the air, forcing it asunder as it began to glow a bright, hot red. It flew over the heads of the regiments below and hit the Emperor square in his mouth, knocking him backwards into his throne. He sat there motionless for a split second. Then the shaped charge detonated, and his head suddenly came flying off. It thumped harmlessly on the ground in front of the throne, its expression of an agonized grimace. Then the sonic boom of the shot rang through the air as the assembled army watched its leader's head fall lifeless to the ground. That was the very moment the Turanian Empire died. Barely 10 human years later, humanity had deposed the Galactic Council and established the Terran Federation.